Welcome to the podcast. We don't know a name for it yet.
Last week we were shut up.
We were
no longer.
So we were going to call us Shut Up, but Gswine has found that there are many Shut Up podcasts. So we, at the moment, are called Name Pending and Elite Dangerous Podcast. We're going to figure that out eventually.
I think that works.
I am one of the hosts, AuGold. We have the others, Gswine.
Hello.
And Quade. Say hello, everyone.
We said hi.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. Whatever. I didn't hear it. But, I mean, if you said you said hi, then you said hi. I'm not gonna argue. All right. So Quade, you drew up a structure this time around, so we weren't faffing about like idiots.
I figured, like, hey, let's not just be totally random. Let's be random in order. Wait.
That makes sense.
So, like, the idea would be, we talk about some news, and then we talk about, like, actual discussion topics, and then we maybe, like, answer some questions and tutorials or whatever.
Right. So, I guess, we need
a name.
We're the Name Pending Podcast. Right?
Name Pending Cast, and then we can be NPC.
There you go. The Name Pending Cast. The Elite Dangerous Podcast. I love it.
Well, this week we will be Name Pending. Next week we'll change our name.
We're just going to change the name every week. We're just not going to have a consistent podcast
name.
We're
not the NPC.
No, we're not. I mean, okay, realistically, I really like the name, what was it, Ocronox? Yeah. I like that, the Ocronox Podcast.
Home planet and station invention. That'd be good.
The Ocronox Podcast.
That seems like a tradition, right? You've got like the Hutton Truckers and Lave and...
Yeah, you got the Lav Podcast, the Lave Podcast.
Yeah, like they all seem to name it after their their locations in game.
So what we got?
So we're the Mobius Podcast. No.
Yeah.
No, not the the Cubeo Pro. No.
Was Journey's Rest?
Yeah. No, Ocronox Podcast.
Ocronox.
That'll be easy for anybody to remember.
Yeah, obviously. We could do Sterney's Refuge Podcast.
It's a refuge, isn't it? But
it is a refuge. It's a refuge for all the slaves.
I don't know.
We're the Vistanus Podcast.
Let's table this. let's table this.
Okay.
Next week we'll come up with a name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that next week.
All right.
We should be Ocronauts.
Yeah, because it's been a busy week in Elite Dangerous, right? Like we had Gamescom. There's been developments both in game and out of game. I feel like we should have some cool stuff to talk about.
I suppose before we start, I'll say if anyone has any questions for us specifically or anything about we talked about in this podcast or any of the previous podcasts.
Keep them to yourselves.
No, let's not do that.
No.
Comment either in any of the descriptions, but this is going straight to YouTube for now, so comment in the YouTube descriptions or post your, question to any of the subreddits we follow, the Elite Dangerous, Aislinn Duval subreddits, and we'll see if we answer those in the next podcast. Yeah, so with that out of the way, Quade?
Leave a comment or whatever. Yeah, so...
we may respond.
Just since this is the first week we're doing the structure, like, news doesn't have to be news about the game, necessarily. It could be related to just spacey stuff or other video games that are similar. So I don't know if any of you guys heard this week, but there was this planet found.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so the idea was, right, the European Southern Observatory found a planet orbiting Proxima Centauri, and what's kind of cool about it is that this was actually something that existed in Frontier Elite 2. So that's
I did not know.
There, yeah. Well, one of the lovely things about Elite is that it uses a lot of this data from NASA and the European Space Agency to simulate our galaxy.
Right.
So it's as realistic as we know how to make a simulation like this. It's kind of cool when you have these scientific discoveries that approximate what's in game, or I guess the game is approximating what's in reality. But I don't know. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it's just an Alpha Centauri. It's just the second star
to
in that system.
Yeah, Alpha Centauri B.
Yeah.
And then Proxima B. Or no, wait. I don't know. Hold on. No, Alpha Centauri is the main star. The next closest star
so the second star is Proxima Centauri. So the planet is Proxima B.
Correct.
But it's in the system of Alpha Centauri. Just like that system is a binary system.
Yeah. I think we should go, guys. I think we should go.
And both flying all the way to Seoul.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still faster than doing it IRL, where it
Take
we'd have
4.2
to invent
years.
the technology and then at the speed of light. We can't even go that fast.
I don't know. That seems... You could go visit it, take some screenshots.
Yeah.
See if it's actually an Earth-like
I'm
or not.
sure it'll happen. We could probably look on the Reddit and somebody's like, oh, hey, I went there. Take a look.
Yeah, but honestly, it's probably already up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently it's in the habitable zone, which is good. So that's good. We might, we might settle there one day.
So, space shit. All right, what else we got? Who else has news?
I mean, there was Gamescom it was like all week?
Yeah, well,
I don't know how long
I think
Gamescom lasts.
Thursday to Saturday?
If it was from Thursday to Sunday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Sunday was like, the first day was like something, and then they probably recapped what they've done because they recapped every day. I didn't see the first day. And then it was like 3 days of recap.
Yeah, so like one day was passengers, one day was fighters, one day was, I don't even remember what else. But like they kind of rolled out over a few days. Yeah.
Exactly. They recapped so much that I forgot to have to remember.
well, what stuck out to you? What's like the one thing you heard, Gswine, what's the one thing you heard that you were like, okay, yes, great, they're doing that?
I wasn't exactly set on fire by a lot of it. I don't mind the UI changes. UI changes are good as long as it's not just... I mean, they're still digging out the overlay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I don't mind that. The thing where you can choose, you can choose, you plot your route, and now you could hit all the high techs and things. I'm sure that'll come in handy. But some of the examples they showed you was like you have a 4 jumps, and then they turned it into like a 12 jump route, and I was sitting there thinking, I don't have the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that utility will be like for the explorers trying to plot through scoopable stars or something like that.
I did once I thought about it again, I did see there was actually some utility. I mean, even if I wanted to avoid planets that I haven't honked.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, flying through the bubble, you still get a lot of like stuff that's undiscovered to you. So it is good to be like, hey, just while I'm on my way up to wherever, let me go through undiscovered systems.
Yeah, I could use that data instead of running the same silly path. So yeah, no, that was okay. And the idea of the animations on the stars, that's
kind of
interesting, isn't it?
Well, but it's not just the animations on the stars, right?
And things
there was more to it because you're going to be able to actually scoop the solar flares and get like a supercharged jump boost.
Yeah, that seems dangerous.
Right, and it breaks your frameshift drive if you do it. It causes damage when you jump like that. I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's kind of useful if you're stuck somewhere, like if you're stuck in a system without a fuel scoop. Well, I mean, do you need a fuel scoop?
Yeah, you need a fuel scoop.
Or is it just
you need a
fuel scoop?
But these aren't stars. These are on stars that you can't
get
normally scoop, right? So like white dwarfs and stuff like that you can't scoop normally. You're able to kind of get around them. And
so I guess you're kind of stuck somewhere. You can kind of get a little bit extra range.
That doesn't make sense though, because those have a really big like gravitational zone.
But I'm guessing the coronas, these things, they're added to select stars, or are they being added to, like, say you're doing your normal route and you're going to jump into a system that has traffic and find out that some NPC interdicts you into a massive solar flare?
I don't know. I mean, the NPCs now interdict me into all sorts of shit, so I can imagine.
That's true. I would guess you probably have to choose to do something like that. I don't think it would be like, oh, you jumped into the system at the same time as the solar flare, so now you're going to take FSD damage when you jump. I would guess it's something you would have to select.
And they did seem to
so
be
that
like
something like that doesn't happen.
No. If you fly into the actual ejection, then you'll be affected. So it doesn't matter if you got a fuel scoop or not. You'll take damage.
I think the damage is no matter what. Like, kind of like the heat, or unless it's tied to actually performing the jump. I don't know. It would suck though if you're like not bringing a repair unit or something with you when you're doing that.
Yeah.
It's just
then you're stuck without an FSD.
Well, for me, what I felt like a lot of the features were building in some money sinks, right? You have like ship transfers, money sink. You have passenger missions which require different cargo layouts or things. So, your cargo ship can't be your passenger ship because the passenger cabins aren't just adapted cargo cabins. They're different. So like that's interesting too. And then this is gonna like break your ship more, so you're gonna repair it more.
Luxury class ones only really affect the new ships.
Yeah. You have luxury cabins on the new ships. You have regular cabins, which are gonna, I guess, fit where you normally have your modules go.
Yeah, and you'll have demanding NPCs who demand that you. They had somebody do like they demanded food and drink.
Yeah,
and
it's like if you didn't
sorts.
bring the right amount of commodities on, that if you don't give me 1 ton of liquor.
Yeah, or you have to make a detour.
Yeah.
But they also said that if they get dissatisfied enough, they will eject.
They'll escape pod away, and you don't get your payment.
Hey, that's when you shoot them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about it. So, well, what else? What else stood out to you, AuGold? What thing did you hear, and you were like, okay, cool.
I guess mine's more just quality of life improvements. The ship launch fighters are kind of cool, but I mean, until multi-crew is put into the game, I'm not going to really do much with the ship launch fighters. I wouldn't feel safe just kind of leaving my ship fly itself, or I'm not exactly sure how it works.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wouldn't feel safe getting into a smaller ship.
Your ship goes under basically the NPC AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to train up. You have to buy and train up a pilot.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an AI, it might be better than me. I doubt it. I would just feel safer with myself flying it and giving the AIs the small ships to control.
You can do that. You can do either.
I'm probably not going to fly one of the smaller ships until multi-crew comes out. But I guess for me, kind of the starship stuff, or the starport stuff, I mean.
Okay.
The variants that they added for the different starport economies are kind of cool. I kind of want to see a tourism one in game, because it looks kind of pretty, actually. It looks like Bloom Intense.
Oh yeah.
Systems like Ocronox or Sternies.
Yeah, that's true. Those fancy
nice trees
bright
and
white
bright white.
starports then get the bloom turned up, and you can't even see like the features for the landing pads. Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, if and this is, I mean, just interesting, wild speculation, if you can change an economy of a station, if the look will change. I still don't think you can.
I think that's more evidence that you cannot change station economies without Frontier intervening.
Yeah. Maybe you're right.
Well, think about it this way, right? Like you invest an insane amount of time and resources into building a starport, and it's designed to be a refinery. And then what? You just like one day it's not a refinery anymore. Now it's high tech. Because you brought me a bunch of superconductors. Like what? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we as PL have always agreed that changing economy doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily it shouldn't work. It probably doesn't work. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean,
it would just be interesting to see. Like one day we fly into Sternies, it's a tourism. The next day we fly in, it's an agriculture.
Well,
like what?
The difference now, though, right? Because
the fans picked. I mean, in the first 2 seconds when they were talking about it, I think one of the starports has statues, and the guy who was describing it said theocracy.
Oh yeah.
Which of course is a gov type rather than a station type, and it suggested that the faction type change might.
Oh, that would be interesting.
The implication was it could be changes.
Oh, interesting.
I think that
so
was
the dictatorship,
a mistake.
I'd imagine, is going to be like all concrete and barbed wire, and giant.
That would be interesting. That'd be
cool. Yeah, I wonder if that was just
tourism.
a slip up, like they didn't. I don't know. We've all been playing long enough that we know that a lot of what Frontier says ends up being incorrect or like a mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess the other thing is I don't know how they're going to do it, but I see that the CQC environments will be in the game. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean the use of assets, bringing in more things, but more colorful. It's all good.
I don't like how is that? But how is that? Is it going to be like?
Is it not the kind of thing you'd expect in a game update? Like if somebody was improving the game you'd bought. It's not really the kind of, those particular features aren't really the kind of thing that
No, I mean, not
but
really.
this
you
isn't
maybe
right.
have in
This
a
isn't-
30, 40, whatever it was.
I mean, I guess
£40.
if they were like, this is, you know, the big update, right? This is Hearthfire, right? Is a famous example for Skyrim, where it's like, this is an expansion, and then it's like, well, no, this is like a paid DLC that does basically one thing in 3 different places. Right? Like that would drive me nuts. But this is one feature of one update of an entire season. So there I'm like, okay, fine. It's a quality of life improvement. You're going to make the game look a little bit more varied. You're going to make the stations have a little bit more indication that they have a different, you know, economy or different whatever. So I'm not that disappointed
it's all good,
about
but
it.
I mean, essentially, someone on the forum did say, and I didn't think about it at the time. I don't know if I totally agree, but I see where this poster was coming from, and it was like, okay, so this is the big ships expansion. So if you're just coming into the game and you've got no money, this is all the stuff you're going to want to aim to get later. Even the ship transfer looks like it could be potentially expensive.
Yeah, I think, you know, both based on distance and also your ship cost, you know, if you're trying to go out to Jacques Station and bring a fully loaded, you know, cutter out there from the bubble, yeah, you're going to pay a billion credits to do it. And I like that. I like that it's going to be expensive. You know, but if I'm...
Yeah, I mean, it also gives... People have been complaining for a while about they have nothing to spend their money on. This, it's kind of something... I mean, not that everyone every day flies out to Jacques and decides, oh, I want my Eagle, so I need to spend my credits to bring it here. But it's something else to use money on, because otherwise... I mean, really, I get the complaints. Money's been just kind of a you collect it,
Yeah, once
then
you
you
have
just save
ships
it for
and you have your
repairs, just in
outfitting
case.
done, you're kind of not spending it.
Yeah, so
I mean, we're talking about engineered modules on ships that you have. That you're not gonna bring a stock clipper up because, you know, there's a station nearby you want to buy a stock clipper. It's those ships you've kind of modded. So I get that. I don't mind it. It's a good.
Well,
good
do you think
function,
they should
but-
have done it? You know, part of the criticism is it
probably
seems
should have been in the base
ridiculous that you get it instantly, right? So, yeah,
I don't mind that.
It doesn't bother me either. But I mean, do you feel like that breaks the immersion, or that breaks
There's enough.
the idea that it's you know, oh yeah, 20,000 light years, no problem. Here it is. I found it.
Yeah.
At some
But
point,
they-
you have to realize this is a game. Because there was a discussion on the thread on Reddit about this, that kind of like, why are they doing this instead of having it be timed? Because if they did it timed, what's the point? Because then at that point you should just fly back, get your ship, and fly there.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably faster than waiting like 8 hours for your ship to show up.
Yeah, I
It just doesn't. At some
suppose they could
point,
make it-
realism and gameplay just need to, like, you need to realize we're in a video game. Realism shouldn't be 100%.
Well, and it would definitely
Like-
make my life easier, right? Like today I
Controversial.
outfitted a gunship and went and took it around to the engineers to get everything modded up. And it took like 3 hours, you know, because I had to go find all the commodities, make sure I had the right outfitting to begin with. I wanted to go around to systems that sold it cheaply. I didn't want to pay full price, so I was going to like different serious systems, getting all the weapons and outfitting done. Then I had to go get the materials for the engineering. Then I had to go to each engineer.
Right.
We did okay.
Yeah, I mean, 3 hours, you
Yeah.
know, and I wasn't
that-
doing every single module. I was hitting the major, you know, the frameshift drive, the thrusters, you know, my weapons, that kind of stuff. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
spent
still
a
like,
fortnight getting my
that's a lot of
FFDs
work.
and 40 rolls that I ignored
Well, yeah,
before that patch.
yeah.
But you don't want to do that. If
I
that's
definitely
realism,
waited for the
then
patch. But
no
like,
thanks.
you know, wouldn't it be nice if I could take whatever super far jumping ship I have and go to Felicity, and then just say, oh, okay, bring my gunship here, please, and then it pops up, and then I can
Yeah.
mod it. You know, that's
Yeah.
there's definitely
See,
you know
that-
some
that
quality
makes-
of life
Absolutely.
improvement there.
That makes the gameplay of the game just 100% better. Because instead of then you're like, okay, well, I want to mod my
100%.
Eagle.
The game is now twice as good.
Listen, maybe like 10% better, okay? Like,
I
'cause
mean,
at
I
some
don't
point
know.
you're like,
After today, I'm actually kind of inclined to agree with you.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, like, if you want to mod, like, for me, I love the Sidewinder. I am for no good reason. I love flying the Sidewinder, and if I wanted to mod it, I can't really do that because the jump range on it is horrible, and getting around to the engineers it's just not worth it. At that point, I'm stopping at pretty much every jump to stop at a station or to spend forever refueling. And to me, being able to just get into my Asp or my Anaconda and just fly to the engineer and say, okay, I want my Sidewinder.
With all
I want to mod it and use
it,
and just fuck around it in Munchen using turrets and I don't fucking know.
Torpedoes. That's it. Just 2 torpedoes and ram them to death afterwards.
Engineer torpedoes in a Sidewinder and just ram things. Like, I wouldn't want to do things that are fun, not have to spend my time flying my Sidewinder up to get torpedoes. That's just not. It's a good quality of life improvement that probably should have been in the base game. Is my guess, but
yeah, I mean,
we're getting it now,
the same
so
kind
that's
of
good.
stuff. With a lot of fast travel systems that games have developed. Like at some point, the vast majority of the player base wants the convenience and not the immersion. And it's not the most immersion-breaking thing in the universe, The most immersion-breaking thing in the universe is when I'm interdicted from the front by an NPC, not the travel system.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and people will go out of their way to spend money that they make in-game, or even money they can purchase if FD decide ever to do something like that. I think people will go out of the way to listen.
What did you just... Don't... Why?
That's good.
Why would you even do such a thing?
Pay to win.
Listen,
That's the way to go.
People will go out of the way to spend their credits to get things faster and go places faster.
That's fine. I mean, and it's a finite resource. It means they have to earn them back. And it's not so prohibitively expensive in most conditions, in ordinary conditions, that I don't think it's going to be off limits. Undermining ships are not going to be difficult, for example, because, undermining happens across these powers. They're sometimes 150, 200 light years away from each other, these systems, right? You're going to take an FDL over there. That's not going to cost you 1 billion credits. It's going to cost you 1 million, right? And that seems much more reasonable. And then you just pop it over there, you kill the ships, do your work for the day, and then get back in your, ASP or whatever and fly all the way home. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's good.
It could lead to some interesting situations. You get the people looking for pilots to, hunt, or maybe you're as you're saying, undermining. You're watching a system and somebody's in a Sidewinder or an ASP, and you think, well, they're probably not going to be doing something. Especially in the situation where they're being chased, they could go into a station and come back with something with a bit more teeth.
True.
That's quite amusing.
It adds more dynamic to the game, at least, with situations like that.
It's just a little bit more flexible, a little bit easier. Well, or think about things like, doing fortifications, right? If I need to, prep a system and summon
even
my
something along the lines of, like, if you're doing BGS and you're trading and you look at the mission board and, oh, hey, I need to kill 6 skimmers and I don't have a fighting ship on me or anywhere near me.
That is very true.
Now I can do that mission. Right up in there, right there.
Yeah, we're about to get into a civil war in one of our expansion systems, right? I want a fighting ship, but I don't want to have to go back to go get it. I'd rather just bring my fighting ship to me. And that's only,
I'd like to...
It's only 5 or 6 jumps. It's not a huge jump, but it
but
is
I can make that one jump in an ASP and then bring the ship to me, and just so much easier at that point.
So
sure, I'll probably lose credits.
So that's excellent. That is a good feature. Anything else stand out to either of you guys? I don't know really what stood out to me. The fighters. I'm so curious. About the fighters.
Yeah, SRV skins.
Did we ever get approved for the tourist landmark in Munchen?
I don't know. They didn't put a list up, and the way it sounds is that the tourists are just gonna want to go all over the place. You're just gonna hire them and
so just
so I'd imagine that we will have tourists. But
that'd be good.
I don't think we're.
It is a pretty system anyway, so.
Well, the threads, right? The tourist threads were odd because I'd say 9 out of 10 things that would pop up on the threads were nebulas and very beautiful systems that were very far away. And then 1 out of 10 would be a system in the bubble that's really cool. And so that's where I was like, most people, most passenger missions, like they're not going to design a 15,000 light year round trip So people aren't going to do that, and if they've got these passengers who have these, stupid timers on them where if they're not getting, enough liquor quick enough, or they're not going to see a combat zone quick enough, like they're not going to let you go fly them out to the, core and fly them back.
They're going to have to get that right first time.
They're not
like
maybe...
the missions you have just now where you can be changed, like you get the diversions and you get the times.
Yeah, you have 30
seconds
coming up. You have no minutes, no hours to get me, to a combat zone.
45 seconds to do X. They better get that balance right.
It'll be
of course not.
It'll be broken to all hell, and it'll eventually work fine, and we'll be pleased with it.
I want Levy and Brandy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. To kind of change topics, this is something I'm reading here. So ships able to carry fighters are the Anaconda, the Corvette, the Gunship, the Cutter, the Beluga, the T9, and the Keelback.
Yes.
So one of those things doesn't make sense.
Why?
Right?
Keelback is set up for it. That's why
the Keelback, that was like one of its...
Yeah.
That's like one of the reasons they introduced
That's
it.
why you have a Keelback from a T6.
But no one flies it.
It's an armored...
They will when they can keep a little Taipan on board.
Except for, it's still a useless ship because you can just fly the Conda. You can just fly the gunship, the Corvette.
Yeah, okay, one percenter. Yeah, with your fancy 160 million credits to buy your Anaconda.
The Keelback's pretty expensive too, isn't it?
No, the Keelback's like $1 million, let's see what the Keelback costs.
Let's see. I'm going to Coriolis.
I don't own one.
I do. Keelback is 3 million. Okay, so yes, it's not that bad. 3 million.
Yeah, so that's 2 million base cost more than the T6, right? T6 comes in at like 1 million-ish.
Yeah. It's a medium ship. I thought only large ships.
Part of the Keelback, though, is everything around that price range is better than it is, right? So like the T6 is a better trader than the Keelback. It can hold more, it can jump further, and it's faster to get away, right?
The Courier is a better fighter.
The Courier's a better fighter.
Asp is a better explorer.
Pretty much everything. Yeah.
And the Vulture is alright.
Yeah, but it's whether or not you want to try and have, train your NPC pilot.
And that's right.
Because you don't buy them, you don't get them fantastic. You get them as being mediocre or okay with potential, and then
I think you're exactly onto something there. And I think part of it too is that they want a sense of progression with your buddy in the fighter. So like if you want to start out as a recent, young player, a player with not a lot of money, then 3 million is not a difficult entry level to get to then get your fighter and get your crew member, and they're like there ready to rock. And it appears to me that the NPC crew members can be there even if you don't have a fighter. Because the fighter, the way they were showing it in the video, you would assign a crew member to the fighter, right? But you could have 3 NPC crew members. So in my mind, you have a crew member that goes along with you on all these adventures, right? Quote unquote adventures.
And they're just there.
And they're there, but they gain experience from it. They take a cut of your income. And then you start to let them fly the fighter, and that brings their combat rank up. I feel like there's going to be some gameplay built in with that, and there's going to be an advantage to having a crew member that ranks up. Or you could just go into port and buy an elite crew member outright. I mean, that's fine too, and I'm sure they're expensive and worth it. But I don't know. I think that there's going to be something, and that's why you're seeing them spread it out across a couple different ships. Yeah.
So specifically, I mean, this website says can be assigned. So the AI, the hires you bring with you in your ship can be assigned to different roles in the role panel. So I'm guessing that for right now, I'm guessing that means you put them in the different small fighters, the Condor, the I fighter.
Well, this is the thing. You can only the fighter is just. I mean, you buy the bay, and you have your materials for synthesis. But it's like the SRB, you can only deploy one.
So I mean, like you take your AI and you assign them to each of the different fighters, whichever ones you have in your ship at that time. I wonder if they're going something along the lines of, eventually you're going to be able to assign the AI to go, like if you're in a cutter and you're delivering something to an outpost, you can assign the AI to get into a smaller ship, and ferry goods.
No, it's tethered. It's tethered to your ship. We don't know the exact distance yet, but it will. If you fly too far away, or it flies too far away,
I mean, like you get your cutter, you drop down to the outpost.
Oh, an elite
like you drop.
I might be quiet for some time. Excuse me.
I mean,
right.
I mean, like more. You get into your cutter, you drop down to the outpost, and you say, okay, well, I have brought 712 units of gold, and I need to sell it. So, or I brought fortification units, but I'm in a cutter. This is an outpost only system. I'm gonna spend like an hour just kind of sitting here watching my AI come, like, go into my ship, take some of the fortification, go down, drop them off, come back, do it again. That would like increase their trade rank or something. I don't.
It could be. They didn't preview any of that kind of mechanics, right? They purely showed this is a fighter. It launches from your ship. Either you control it or your AI controls it. You can seamlessly transition between either one.
Yeah, so for right now, it's combat only.
It's a combat only thing, and the ranks are combat ranks. But I mean, I feel like because you can still have 3 crew members and one fighter, right? So what are these other crew members doing? Like, there's got to be some kind of functionality in mind. Otherwise, they wouldn't waste the time and effort to figure it out. Yeah,
it would be interesting. They would like start off as novice traders.
And we have 2.2 is Guardians, 2.3 is multi-crew.
Right.
Right, and that's where
I'd still love to see ferrying like T6s out of an Anaconda.
Yeah, and the speculation was always that the Beluga was supposed to be too big to fit in the docking slot, right? And then they were like, well, okay, not actually, right? The wings can retract and things like that. Yeah. So I don't know. That'll be interesting.
I'd like to see something like that though, especially like I think AI, if they had like a trade rank, they would like go down and that you wouldn't get the true profit that you're supposed to if they're like when they're novice, but as they go up through the ranks, you get more of the normal profit if you're in a large ship and you're at an outpost. For
I don't know. That could be a pretty interesting way to do it. Yeah, there's going to have to be a benefit to it beyond just like you've got this person around helping you out.
Right. And I don't know. I don't know how they do it with that because exploration. Maybe you send them down.
I think they want you to be attached to it really more than I think that's maybe as far as they've gotten so far. What I want to see from the passenger missions and things is what they did in Frontier, which is you could have people come on and you take them somewhere and then you drop them off again, and then maybe a few hours later the Galnet would report there was a bombing or something happened.
Right, yeah, you just delivered a terrorist to somewhere,
Yeah, more involved than just a mission where right now it's just
okay. Well, let me bring this up then, since we are an Aisling faction, we care about imperial slavery, or more accurately, like getting rid of the institution. So you will still only be able to transport slaves and imperial slaves as cargo modules, right? They're not able to be passengers.
Okay, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
There still needs to be a way to do something with them. They've put in this slavery feature and then kind of just hung it out to dry. We have an entire faction. We have an entire power based around freeing slaves, and they haven't given us a single way to do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, and right, so like currently in game, like right, the ways to free your slaves are expand into systems
and make slavery illegal.
And make slavery illegal, right? So basically, like certain government types or certain powers, right, depending. Or you can buy slaves and take them to places that supposedly let them go, right? Sell them at black markets in Aisling space or federal space. Go to that UBETH, whatever system that was that they had that community goal, right? And according to the game, those slaves are set free. According to the story, right? But like the mechanics don't say, oh, you've freed us, right? The mechanics say, great, you delivered X tons of cargo, here's your money. And it's like, you're like, well, that doesn't feel very freeing, where's my like...
Actually, they did have a mission.
Well, and then that's the other ones, right? You have missions to... Yeah, you're right, actually. Those did disappear. The ones where you can like, hey, deliver these slaves, and then the box pops up and says, take them somewhere else. Yeah, the manumission ones, right. Yeah, those are gone. So I don't know. It's interesting to me, but But even from a principle, right? Because like slavery is a big differentiation between the Empire and the Federation, right? That's always a big point of contention. Is like, hey, you know, the Empire, as noble and cool as it sounds, like they've got these slaves and they're horrible slavers, and then the Empire says, no, like our slaves are held to a different standard. Well, it sure doesn't look like it because you still freeze them in cryopods and, you know, sell them in mass as though they're products. You know.
Yeah, I mean, here's really the I guess the pickle that Frontier put themselves in. They designed a power as an anti-slavery power. They could have just entirely left Aisling out of the game. They could have just said, okay, you have all the Imperials and you have the Feds, the One Alliance guy, and the Independents, and they could have never they could have just not touched on slavery at all. And the game probably would be no different than it is today.
Only
nothing different.
If you like, only because of Imperial unity.
But it's not just an intra-Empire issue, right? I mean, it's an issue with between, you know, the Empire and pirate factions like Delane. It's an issue between the Federation and the Empire, right? Even if Aisling wasn't around, you still have that issue where, like, the Federation makes all slavery illegal,
right?
Imperial or otherwise.
The four Imperial powers was a question of game mechanics and balance as to how they would respond and play.
Yeah, that's true. I probably wasn't going to pledge a federal power anyway.
That's a different point. But on Imperial slavery.
But to get back to
they had the chance to flesh out with the passenger modules, and there is that thread, Corrigan.
Yeah, he put the thread up on the forums.
He makes a very good point.
It's like, look, like you guys, but not just that, like, oh, this is, you know, a propaganda point, or this is something like, no, like it's actual, I mean, it's not character development, but it's like environment development, right? You've got to take this world you've built, this galaxy you've built, this gigantic superpower you've built, and like give it the character that its story says it has. Like make the mechanics match the story. And to me, like, I don't know, I'm all about that. I feel like anything that allows complexity of argument, you know, between two sides of a game is going to allow like really cool story and content to emerge.
Maybe what they could have done instead of, as just a brainstorm idea, instead of Aisling being like the media lady where you just take the pamphlets and take them everywhere, it could have been you're purchasing slavery contracts, and when you take them elsewhere, you turn like pretty much exactly the same as we do it with the media pamphlets right now. When you take them elsewhere, you're selling off the contracts and you're freeing the slaves.
Right, have that be her ethos instead of, you know, propaganda.
Exactly. That would have been. She's supposed to be vapid.
Yeah.
That she has all these good intentions, but she's still imperial and rich.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of, you know,
it just seems like
she's a Twitter activist. She's not a real activist.
Yeah.
That's the.
Yeah.
You know, she will hashtag
it just seems like they could have done
that slavery.
She did have the shadowy figures behind her.
Right,
which,
there's that. We don't know who's...
drawing in with the Drew Wagner, the new book.
That's what I was... Yeah, you beat me to it,
the
right?
The shadowy figures are supposed to be... They're still there in the shadows, being figures. And
I guess I'll have to read
that
book to figure out, you know, more about her characterization. Well, that's interesting, too, you know, so... If she's supposed to be this sort of vapid, almost ditzy, like disconnected person, right? She feels very strongly about things, but that's about the limit of what she's got. You know, how is her player base going to react to that? If, you know, the book comes out and reinforces that she's, you know, this ditz. Yeah, like what do we do? You know, like, well, damn, I thought I was joining a principled, you know, slave liberated. Yeah.
I think the PRI are covered. He's been very he knows how she's written and what she's supposed to be, and there is just the same as Pileus Libertas. There's a goal, and if you can find an ally or, you know, some form of influence to help you make that goal, then you join forces, and if you part ways at some point, then I think we might be distancing ourselves from that character, but you'd certainly still go.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think you'd find too many ructions. I think there'd be a lot of jeering.
Yeah. Well, it's true, and I mean, it seems pretty clear too that the way power play was introduced, like there was a lot of space made for a potential Imperial Civil War that never developed, right? We went head-to-head with ALD in the very first 2 turns over Kartoy and then said, nope, never again, not doing that anymore, right? And it's literally been peace for more than a year. We've never gone head-to-head with ALD over everything, and that's been a point, right? Where like it seemed like Frontier was really egging on this idea that Aisling is trying to just screw around with the Empire, change it up, get rid of the slaves, topple tradition, and they wanted that to develop into a conflict, and it really never has, right? Like it's been maybe uneasy at times, but it's never been an outright conflict between any of the Imperial powers, right? Even the ones that are most at odds, like Aisling and Torval, have never gone head to head over anything except the occasional, prep system.
Yeah. The thing with ALD, it was when the idea of the, who was going to be Emperor.
Yeah.
Ever since that had been decided, however it was actually decided, it's not really been an issue. I don't think the Duvals don't seem to be naturally opposed.
Yeah, not
I know that. I mean, apart from the CG, the celebration CG.
Yeah, but I mean that was very much
which seemed to be about rubbing our noses in it.
Right, and it was right because you had multiple people go forward and say, "Hey, can we have like a counter CG?" And they said no. They were like, "Nope."
No. It was about showing dominance and who was in charge. Which was FD.
Right. Yeah. That's the real answer.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So very good stuff. Let's shall we kind of continue on down the list?
Yeah. So Hoons. Oh well. Okay. Before we get to Hoons,
Hooters.
I'm gonna before we get to Hooters, I'm gonna mention the background. Whenever we upload this to YouTube, there's gonna be a background image. This image for this week's episode was created by one of the commanders we know from AD Slack, named Craig. We were talking about the podcast, and he decided to draw up this stick figure image of the 3 of us sitting at computers, and I thought it was hilarious.
It
captures my head perfectly.
He doesn't know what we look like. This is purely based off of
he doesn't. So
yeah,
we have 3 stick figures all sitting at computers, and that's going to be our background image. You guys have been probably looking at it for the last 45 minutes, so I thought it was funny. Yeah. So shout out to Craig.
That's good. So
maybe I'll chop this up in editing, and I'll put that at the beginning.
Yeah, we can do that. That's true. Whatever. The magic of editing can make anything happen.
Hey, I know it can go wherever. Siri, Cortana, stop.
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
okay, thank you.
Xbox, turn on. Haha, how many did I get? Hooning.
Cortana, turn off.
Hoons and the Hoons who hoon them.
Huh.
I'm lost. I haven't read the thing about
Buffalo. We talk about hooning about and hooning and I guess as a term, it's people who do stupid things in their vehicles, right? And typically, it's people who also make ridiculous modifications to their vehicles. Gigantic bleacher seats that they, staple onto the back of their cars and stance lowering. So when I'm talking about hooning, I'm talking about ship kits.
Oh, ship kits.
Okay, you want to talk about ship kits?
I thought this was about, like,
I was gonna say I saw like this truck the other day that.
I mean that's a hoon, right? If you're hooning around, you're burning donuts in your I don't know, Tercel.
In your Hummer.
Yeah, no, not even in your Hummer. Like it has to be like a crappy car that you then take and modify in a stupid way. Anyway.
Hummers.
So hooning around.
Oh, we have guys over here who do that.
Yeah,
So does America.
Yeah. Well, I think the term originated in Australia, didn't it?
That's what you said, yeah.
It's like spoilers that hit the ground and
neon everywhere.
People who can't go over speed bumps.
It's like but it's also like an antisocial way of like driving and all that. So I feel like ship kits are absolutely ridiculous, and yet we're now getting them on the Python, we're getting them on the Vulture, and then we've already got them on the Cobra and Eagle and Sidewinder. They add nothing to the game besides appearance, and they are ostentatious, right? They're these gigantic fins and spoilers and these little like things that stick. I mean, I don't know. Are you guys into it?
Why do we need this?
I feel like a lot of people are really into it.
Why do we need this?
But like,
It's okay.
I'll buy paint jobs, I'll buy bobbleheads, but for some reason, this one thing makes me think of this car culture that I hate. I don't know.
So I kind of understand. Like, I think I know why you feel that way. Because like you can buy a car,
Yeah, but we all want
and you
details.
can buy it in a total huge range of colors. You can buy it in blue, orange, pink, green, black, gray, silver.
Details.
Or you can, when you're in your car, you can decorate the inside of your car with like leather seats, vinyl seats, all the stuff. But you don't go out and you don't get huge suspensions. You don't get giant green tires. I feel like that's kind of the same situation here. You'll pay a little bit extra for the paint job. You'll pay a little bit extra just to have cool things in your cockpit.
But if I put them on my Python?
No, there's no difference. There's absolutely no difference. It just makes the ship. It doesn't. It's not even noticeable in game when you're flying around. It's not even like, unless you were like to zoom in on the tiny little section of your ship, it's not noticeable at all.
Well,
at least from the screenshots I've seen, I when they announced it, I didn't even see the difference. They were like, "Oh, here's all the new ship kits." I'm like, what are we adding?
Yeah,
so
I don't. You're showing me a picture of a Cobra.
Your SRB, which seems. I mean, if you're taking photographs or you have some kind of, it's.
I feel like that's more of what the
identity. I don't know if you can get that. I mean, it's military black, and was there a red one?
Yeah, I think.
And it's essentially, who wants to have the most. Oh, my brain's not going to work now. Damn it. Jerry Anderson style car. Who it's.
I feel like this is going to be a similar situation with like suiting up your car. The people who like to do it will do it,
SRB.
and the people who hate it will complain about it.
I don't know. I don't mind it. It doesn't affect your game. It's like saying, if this stops them from doing pay-to-win stuff, then I don't even want to use that term.
Yeah, I mean, it does stop us from being able to buy credits or just buy ships with money, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But why? Why ship kits? It just seems so out of the blue. Like, bobbleheads make sense. Paint jobs make sense.
If you sit and think about the asset time in the concept and production and implementing,
it probably took them like 10 minutes to
I'd
make all
rather
these
have-
things.
I'd rather have mission fixes or
the opportunity
be
cost
nice.
of creating ship kits is rather high relative to the other things in game that we want to see fixed.
I don't know.
Okay.
To me, it makes it doesn't make sense.
I mean, and that's the thing, though,
to
right?
include
Maybe
ship kits.
it's not supposed to make sense to me or to you or to
Maybe
us,
it
right?
isn't.
Like
Maybe
the
it
people
isn't.
who want
Maybe it
this
isn't.
are going to want it in a way that doesn't make sense to us.
I didn't
It
like
ma- it
skins
really
until
doesn't.
I bought my pirate skin, and then
The
then I
pirate
was
skins
like,
are pretty
"Ooh, I
slick.
like that."
I don't know. I'm still holding
The
out
orange
for
ones are
like
horrible, though.
faction decals, faction bobbleheads.
Those
that
would
kind
be
of
nice.
stuff would be nice too.
I mean, so they
It'll be
already
fine.
have that set up for T-shirts, right? Like, we could upload the Pileus Libertas logo and get that as a
Yeah.
T-shirt.
You got
Is that
choose
through
the
the
logo
ED shop?
first.
They
you
said
can
they
do
were
it
doing
if
that?
you go to frontierstore.net. They have a whole merchandise creation.
So we can
section.
do that for shirts. Why can't we do that for something digital yet?
I don't know, because
Why is that not an
video
option?
games are
It has to
complicated
be-
to make and implement.
Yeah, you've
know,
got your VR stuff,
You
and
change
you've got who
change
can
one
see
color,
you,
and next thing you know, the moon comes crashing into the earth. And
they have actually
Maybe.
explained that.
It just
so-
seems like
and I agreed with them. There's all this stuff about how it's represented in VR and how it's represented if somebody else sees you, and if you're taking a screenshot, and they all have to be analyzed and examined before they're plastered on,
Well,
and
and
how they get.
one thing
displayed.
Elite,
I get that,
And I believe them.
but there are other games that are similar to this that let you customize things to a T. Like, you can add
Like
things
No Man's-
from
no.
like, you can just make stuff. not No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's different though, right? And like Elite has always had this level of visual polish, right? Like it's always striving to look really good, to give you this idea that you're in the galaxy. So like I can see them wanting to be very
It might be an engine thing.
careful and smart with how they, allow things to be changed. Because next thing you know, right, what's going to happen? Players are going to fly around with big dicks on their ships, right? Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Listen,
if you open that up to players, it's going to be just dicks everywhere.
If they added a ship kit that was just a giant dick,
it's called the Orca.
I would be buying that. I would be buying that.
I know you and many other players, but I think like they're
yes,
right. Obviously, right. We don't have any automobiles that are giant penises, at least not obviously, and so they're like, yeah, in the future you're not going to be flying a giant space dick. You're still going to be flying a spaceship.
You say there's no cars that are... What? Yes, there are.
Well, approximations, compensation, perhaps, but none that are like very obviously.
But there are people that...
Oh, he's going to find like the one example or many examples where I'm wrong, and then I'm going to be staring at automotive
the entire thing's just going to be
yeah.
screenshots of dick cars. Right. But here's the thing, like people have like on their truck, like the back of their trucks, like the ball sacks or dicks hanging off the... I want something like that. I want a ship kit that has a dick on it.
You want truck nuts on your cutter.
Yes.
I've never heard of.
2 kilometer long.
You've never heard of that?
It's a 2 kilometer long like work of art that's capable of jumping between the stars.
I would purchase it.
And you want truck nuts on it.
Yes.
And this is where, like, on one hand, I look at ship kits and I'm like, what a horrible idea. Why are they wasting my time? And then I hear this and I'm like, they're going to make so much money.
Exactly.
People are going to buy this. Okay. All right.
It makes
Problem
sense.
solved. I've figured out hooning hoons and the hoon them, and good job, AuGold. You are the hoon. You are the hoon.
Only with ball sacks.
Required. Yeah.
Ow.
We should call this a hoon podcast.
No. I guarantee that already exists anyway.
Well, all right.
Very disappointed.
Fine. Next topic of discussion. In 4 days, something is going to happen.
Count them.
Right?
4.
It's the 24th. On the 28th.
Are you counting them?
What is it?
Well, actually, okay, 3, fine. You're in the future, Gswine.
2, 1.
From where I am, on the 28th, something is going to happen somewhere, right? They've decoded things based on scrambled screens.
So you're talking about the...
and August 28th.
Yeah, like the poem thing.
I think it was October the 28th.
No, it's August 28th. They came out in the threads and said, no, it's August 28th. It's in 4 days from now. And people want to know, like, what are the theories, what's going on. But here's my question. My question is bigger than this.
October.
Obviously.
Who is our Will Smith? Who is it that's going to, the first time they see an alien, punch it right in the face? Who is it that's going to, light a cigar and just say, welcome to Earth? Who is our Will Smith? Who's going to save us?
Braben.
No.
I mean, he's behind the Thargoids, right? He's engineering the plot.
He is the alien, actually. It's just going to be a bunch of Braben-faced ships.
If we give him shore leave and stop, throwing BGS stuff his way, then Onion Man might do it.
All right, yeah, I could see Onion Man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He could.
Let him take the fight to the aliens. Let him fly his ship right into the mothership and blow them up.
Clay seems quite capable.
What was that professor's name? That chick who went crazy? No. Is it her?
No, you're talking about Halsey. She was a president. She's an ex-president.
Yeah, her.
Okay, so she knows the alien. But wasn't she...
I think,
didn't she kind of sound like they had, expanded her universe and she's like going to be welcoming them?
Well, yeah, and then she was going to be Alliance.
That's
and
why she's going to kill them all.
She's back to being mute again. Supposedly she's okay.
So we've got
That's why she's gonna kill them all.
We've got Halsey.
Yeah.
No, but like who's
Yeah.
gonna be our Will
She's
Smith?
gonna
Who's
kill
gonna save
everything.
us? That's what I want to know.
It depends. Well, I can give you
Hey, comments. What do you think?
a list of that's probably the better thing, isn't it?
Yeah, let the people
Who do
know.
you think is our Will
We
Smith?
should make that
Let us know in the
thread on
comments.
on the Elite Reddit. Who is going to be our Will Smith?
Me a million
Yeah,
times.
I'm gonna vote for like I don't know, Obsidian Ant or somebody, right? Like he can.
Obsidian Ant.
Except he doesn't strike. He strikes me more of a lover and not a fighter, perhaps. Though he has some combat.
I mean,
in
what
some of
other
his
like
other videos.
what other and you know who it's gonna be? It's gonna be Kirk.
Oh, I was undermining with some guys, and an NPC Kirk showed up and started fighting us. He was a bounty hunter.
It's gonna be him. It's gonna be him. It's gonna be Kirk.
Kirk.
Obviously.
Famous
Sweet.
NPC Kirk.
I mean, really, we don't have any like big name.
That's not true.
Kinda NPC AI.
Nightshade will be screaming at you. It'll be me.
No, not people.
I'm
like
not saying that's
there's
what
big
Nightshade
name
sounds like.
players. There's not big name lore people that I can think of. I mean, I don't.
Well,
Other than the crazy president lady.
you've got the Canon Group, right? And their lead scientist, who was basically a player creation that got adopted into Frontier's lore.
Didn't he also go crazy?
No, he's not crazy. He's a bit eccentric.
Wasn't he one of the ones that went crazy?
No, there's only been one crazy person.
Yeah, that's just Halsey.
There's many crazy
Okay,
people.
but like,
It's just Halsey. She has
Abducted
like
and crazy.
followers. Da pod people.
That's why she's gonna be the one to kill them all.
Yeah. We're still waiting for Winters to be deposed and for the entire Winters player base to be told that they are now pod people.
right? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
Maybe-
to that day.
Maybe the new Russian overlords will be the ones that
That's true. They seem
punch
rather tough,
aliens in the
right? They
face.
talk a tough game.
Yeah.
They're very, very strong. So maybe,
They'll be the ones to save
punch
us.
a few aliens.
yeah, maybe
Think
maybe
we
it
could
should
do
be
it?
us.
I could definitely punch a few aliens if I could.
only if they're harboring slaves.
Yeah.
Then we can punch aliens.
Yeah.
They intend to make
Ob-
everybody.
Otherwise, it
aliens
doesn't- I mean, it doesn't
obviously
matter.
want to enslave all of humanity. It's the only thing that. It's the
I
only thing they
mean,
do.
maybe
So
it's gonna be Halsey.
Halsey.
Yep,
I
it's
don't
gonna be her.
agree. I think Halsey is a she is controlled by the
You're all
aliens.
wrong.
She is pro
When I'm
alien.
right, when I'm right,
The interesting
when
thing
I'm
about
right,
that
come
is
back to this podcast.
you've got Halsey,
Just come
and there
back
was
to
the
this
thing
podcast.
about the whole contact with aliens, and then it kind of faded off. And then it came back again. She kind of apologized, and she went off, and
Well, yeah,
it
they
was the whole
put her in
thing
that
and
mental institution.
bringing the data in, and then it all kind of petered off, and it seems to have gone off on a tangent. It doesn't quite seem connected anymore, whether this alien sightings has anything to do with the idea of people not
Well,
being people.
And
But there was
is,
that video
yeah, there's
at Gamescom where he said, they're here, they're around us. Now, was that supposed to be the aliens are in space somewhere, not too far away, galactically, or was that saying, they're here? But as I say, they've dropped that storyline. So
yeah, well, I mean, I don't know,
if
right?
Halsey's
And,
coming back.
yeah, so the Halsey storyline kind of is confusing and missing somewhere. All we know is that she's like out in the galaxy being a part of something in Alliance space, right? But then we've got ship disappearances that are being hinted at in all of the, or not all of them, but many of the tip-offs, right? Where you find the ship and you get their beacon recordings and crash shipwrecks. And
Yeah.
they're saying that they're getting like torn out of supercruise or hyperspace or whatever, or which space, I guess. Mentioning weird sightings, and you've got, the unknown probes and the unknown artifacts, which are all been figured out, and they're all pointing back toward Muro 5C. So it's like, I don't know. Things are coming to a head a little bit.
Yeah. I still think it's October.
Now, October's when 2.2 is coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
So they say.
That's why I thought it was October 28th, because
Yeah, but
that's when
they've got that
that's
PRE
when they're
gamma.
injecting things into the game.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the stuff is already in there.
Didn't someone already find like the system
Yeah,
that it's
they have
supposed
the
to be
system, right? The system is found. They know something's going to happen,
in? People are probably just waiting.
and it's been confirmed that it's going to be this
Yeah.
this
that's the best way for everyone to miss what's going to happen,
this
because
Sunday.
the more people that head to that system, the less likely it is that anyone's ever going to be able to see anything.
Well, and everybody thinks this is going to be some big unveiling, right? But like the message is, oh, look for a bounty hunter in this system, and he knows what's up.
It's another breadcrumb.
Yeah, it is. It's another breadcrumb, right?
It's just gonna be another mission. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna show up and they'll be like, oh,
it'll lead
now
us to the next
in
clue,
another week.
but not the,
Yeah. Like in another week, we're gonna release the next clue, and you get to go there.
I mean, I do think it'd be really interesting though if they just like, all these people are there searching around the system and then they just all get killed. Yeah,
That'd
they
be
just
great.
get fucking wiped out. Video,
Would be kind of
weird
amusing.
stuff. People like, oh, I just got blown up. Like what? Wouldn't it be really cool? And Frontier, I mean, they for all their foibles and stuff, like they are pretty bold. I think it'd be really interesting for them to just be like, you have all these people, all these heavily armed ships. They're following the breadcrumbs. They're figuring things out really quickly, and then they go investigate it, and they're just lit up. They're just lit up. Ships coming out of nowhere. Stuff they don't understand is going on. Weapons they can't comprehend. Hey, right? That's like if you're gonna have an alien invasion, like have some aliens invade, man. Like let's do it right. Let's blow up Los Angeles and Washington D.C. and get this war started. And to me, that would be really cool, right? And I don't think that maybe not be what's going to happen on the 28th, but like in my
Do you not think
wildest
it'd be their fail
dreams,
to
that's
have
what's
like a
going to happen.
Bermuda Triangle? They're going to head in there. It's going to be alien probes or eddies, and like you say, being pulled at witch base. So your FSD drives failing, people jumping out of the system and jumping back in are going to have problems. I don't know. I would love to see something like that. Just hear about not so much the alien invasion, but just because it's the creepy weird shit that gets people.
So like a
creepy
continued
stuff
atrophy
happens.
of problems, right? So like jumps not working, or you're coming out in the wrong system, right? Or your sensors are reporting things, you're seeing things in the distance that can't be explained, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The first 4 hours would be bug report central.
Yeah, and Frontier would get to play Quade
That would be
a
a lot
little
of fun.
bit, which would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That would be fun.
All right. So should we answer some questions? I found a couple in the new section of the subreddit that I think might be
Subreddit
interesting
or
to answer.
the main elite sub or like a power play sub?
You have to say which one.
No, yeah. So I found a couple questions in new on the Elite Dangerous subreddit, reddit.com/r/elite dangerous.
/new.
Found some /new. Okay. Yes. So at the time of us recording this, I found a couple of the questions. I think what we should do is I'll ask the question and we can all give like a short little answer. We can answer a few questions if we wanted.
That'd be great.
All right. So first one, how can FDev balance thermal shock? So that being like the heat meta right now is pretty much in play, I guess.
I looked at it a little bit, but I don't have. I mean, if you're asking me about the math, it was stacking, and now they've reduced it so that the more you have, it's. I don't know whether it's as simple to say that it's additive with some kind of reduction. The only thing I know about the heat meta is that they screwed with resistance.
Yeah, thermal resistance and all that. No, so what's happening?
Resistance shields became meh.
Yeah, and what's happening is even though they did that I guess mild nerf where they supposedly said, okay, we're gonna reduce the like stacking of the thermal shock. The way that heat damage is applied to your modules is still pretty severe, and you don't need a lot of module damage to have malfunctions. And so what's happening is people are still getting hit by thermal shock, and maybe instead of going to 1,000% heat, they're going to 200% heat, right? But like that's still enough to start breaking their weapons and breaking their drives and breaking their cargo hatches and shields. And so people are saying like, well, so how do we balance this, right? Like what is your counter tactic? Well, you need heat resistant stuff, but that only affects the damage. The actual heat effect doesn't get mitigated by heat resistance. You can run colder equipment, which is fine, but most of the good mods, especially for PvP, are gonna make you hotter.
Increase the heat generation.
Heat sinks,
a
bunch of fucking heat sinks. Yeah,
That's
but
just at some point though you have too many,
right? And you're also sacrificing other valuable slots. So I don't know. For me, I feel like
FD did put a balance in. You have to get yourself a beam laser and put on, I can't remember the name of the blooming thing.
It's but the one that transfers heat from your ship to the enemy.
Yes, that's what I use. I use a small and a large, and I have used it in PvP, and I was taking a lot of heat, and it does actually help.
Yeah, and so
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that say, "Oh, it doesn't work," but I found that it was as good, not as good as a heat sink, but it certainly allowed me to
that is an
put more
excellent
fire
answer.
on.
That's the answer I'll go with, and maybe they still need to tinker with the math a little bit or whatever, but that's the right answer, right? You use the heat that your enemy is putting onto you as a weapon against them.
Seems smart.
And maybe
smart.
they do need to look at the module damage or something, right? Because if that weapon starts malfunctioning, there's nothing you can do. So maybe there's some little things, but I like that answer.
They really need to fix the resistance.
There's definitely things they can do. It just depends on what they want, I guess.
The resistance calculations were excellent before. I'd gone to all that effort to put on the blooming, put it on the shields, and I put it on the shield booster, and yeah, the first few days of using that, the amount of action you could actually engage in was fantastic. I didn't find that my modules were getting burnt out. I don't know. This is another one of these things that you hear about more than people probably experience themselves.
And I think too, like, there's a certain class of PvPer, like, that is competitive with other PvPers, and then there's like a class below that, which is sort of where like you or I might be, where it's like, yeah, if we're going to be involved in a community goal and people are fighting, like, we might fight back, we might bring a combat ship. And I feel like it's those ultra competitive PvP people that sit there and like theory craft out their builds and then test them that are running up against some of these things that maybe the most players aren't seeing, right? NPCs, for example, that even when I'm told I'm getting heat damage, I'm never getting overheated by an NPC, right? That kind of thing. Like, it really does. So the meta, which is kind of a crappy term, but whatever, that's what's being used.
I agree.
I don't know that it really is meta. I don't know that it really is applying to everybody. I think it's only applying sometimes to a subset of people that do a lot of intense PvP. Anyway, But yeah, I like the answer that Gswine gave. I think that's a really good answer that makes sense from like an FDev point of view, right? Everything's rock, paper, scissors. Everything involves trade-offs in this game, and that's a good one, right? If you're going to put a lot of heat on me, I can use that as a weapon against you. That's pretty cool.
I should shoot it back.
Next question. Next question.
All right, next question. How many updates will Horizons have?
5.
I believe it's up to 2.4? Or is it 2.5?
2.5 is the mystery update, right? Or is 2.4 the mystery update?
So 2.5.
2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3,
2.0 is Horizons.
2.4. That's 5 updates. So you have Horizons, Engineers, Guardians, Multi-Crew, and Mystery
Guardians.
Update. That's 5.
5. So 5 updates. We have 3 more to go. Cool. All right, nice and easy answer.
Well, the thing is the pacing. If you really want to,
that's the problem. That's the real problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't know Multi-Crew when that's coming in. I mean, I know they've just released one, but they didn't give any hints at all. Which I don't blame them, because they would just get delays and hit their stock price again.
Yep.
But it's something we need to know as people who actually invested in the package.
It's true. It would be nice. I mean, they did have a timeline, but if you actually look on their store page now, all it says is for each update coming soon, whereas it used to say spring 2016, summer 2016, fall 2016, and then
I think when they delayed
one.
Engineers, they probably had to push everything back, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, before we had this timeline, if they pushed everything back one season, they could have said that, and we still would have had a timeline. But now it just says coming soon, like they don't know when they're going to put out Multi-Crew.
So we know we're getting one.
When it was supposed to be December.
Yeah, that would be my guess, though, is that'll be December. People think they want some of their biggest, coolest stuff to come out around the holidays, though, in time for Black Friday and holiday sales, in time for just the big game sales in general.
Do you think they rebalanced, like in this update? You're getting the UI kind of upgrades. You're getting the planets that are going to be in your FSD witch space animation. You're going to be seeing all of that. You've got your a lot of skins coming out. The fins and things that we were just talking about, do you think that they've changed the model so that they're maybe thinking about using the whole of next year to bring these packages out?
So delay season 3?
We're not going to see the next one until Christmas next year.
So basically,
like the next
like season 3 would be winter
2018.
Well, 2017.
Yeah, winter 2017, early 2018.
All these extra kind of things that you can buy in the interim.
I don't know. That could be, but I mean, well, two things about that. Yeah, they could, right? Because the funding model says, well, they have to push out new paid content. But if they can get people with the other content to kind of, muddle through until another big release. I don't know. I think that it just is pushed back. I don't think that it's going to have to be that long. Because once they get to whatever this 2.4 mystery...
Well, that would still be summer.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
So
summer,
push back instead. Winter would be summer.
Right. I think
wouldn't be bad.
I don't think it'll be a full...
And then you get your breather.
That's about a year and a half of engineers of Horizons to get their new update. That's not that bad.
Engineers came
if it was, say, winter...
Was the date, like May, middle of May. So, yeah. So by the time we reach the next May, Horizons will be done.
We should have new content.
And we should be seeing new content leading in. Yeah, and unless they're just going to try to compress it all and get it all out because they're on some kind of rollout plan. I don't know.
If it got pushed back to, say, like, December of 2017 or early 2018, then I'd say we'd have a problem. But mid or early 2017, I am still okay with for 3.0.
Yeah,
it will be interesting to see how things like... they dodged a bullet with No Man's Sky, but I think...
Yes, they did.
That was kind
of
If
Star Citizen
obvious.
ever comes out.
Yeah, well, and that is a big thing, right? Like, what people are saying when they're coming in, right? You have these threads about people who are, like, taking refuge from No Man's Sky, and they're like, oh, Elite is what I always wanted, right? But, like,
they
Citizen...
strive for balance on the forum. There's several threads going on about how people are leaving. But anyway, let's not touch that. I'm just saying.
No, it's true. I mean, I think people...
Actually...
I don't know. Here's the problem, though, right? Like, you get these threads. I forget who it was in our Slack linked one. It's like, 80% of the player base has left No Man's Sky. And then you look at how many people are playing after this exit, right? And it's like, well, 47,000 people logged on yesterday. Okay, how many people played this through Steam, right? How many people played Elite Dangerous through Steam yesterday? I don't know. Let's go look. Where are the stats at? How do we get to that?
I have no clue.
I used to have these things.
No clue. I mean, realistically, I don't know how many people actually launch it through Steam anymore, because when Horizons came out, they didn't release it through Steam, so everyone had to go get the standalone.
You're right. It's not a good thing, but it's not. Yeah, it's not a great indicator.
It's what people do.
It's like 5,000.
It's what people do.
Right. Like,
jeez.
It's not huge, right? Like, at peaks, it's higher, but, like, on average, most days, it's like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, up and down,
That's
right?
crazy.
It's not this massive game.
Small game.
Well, but you're right. I don't launch it through Steam, right? I bought it before it was on Steam. I still use the launcher. Never had a problem with it, except that it resets my damn HUD every time. But I still think, like, you hear all these stories about it, but, like, Elite has a problem where people are discovering it sort of by accident. I guess they don't get the press that No Man's Sky got. They don't get the press that Star Citizen gets, although Star Citizen's press has kind of waned and become very negative recently, or in the past few months.
Yes.
So, I don't know. It's interesting to me because I think it is the space game that everybody wants, but it's like you need to fucking figure out how to tell people that.
The peak concurrent yesterday was 7,270.
There we go. Good. Right. So 40,000 people less than No Man's Sky
in 2 weeks.
All right. So we're about an hour 15, so we should start wrapping this up. I got 4 more questions. We're gonna go through these really quickly. So, like, literally 1 or 2 word answers if possible. Sentence.
It's not
Try to keep it
possible,
at a sentence max.
No way.
All right. Are engineers worth it for explorers? Yes. Just go to an engineer.
Get
do
the
it.
frame shift drive upgrades. You'll be very happy.
Yes. Frame shift drive and integrity, I would say, are the 2 main for explorers. Just yes, they are worth it.
You want to be able to jump far. Next.
Is there an in-game browser? No.
Next.
Sorry. Next. Clipper or Python for combat?
Python.
Python.
All right. I guess we're going to go with Python. So yeah. go with the Python. Someone says they prefer the speed of the Clipper. I would still say
I, mean,
Python.
I like the Clipper a lot. I
Things
don't
with
think it's
Clippers.
stood up well post engineers. I don't think its shields hold up well enough
I would
to
agree.
fight these days.
Python is amazing, but there are better ships for combat, mainly Anaconda FDL.
Yeah.
And any of the Fed ships, realistically. But of those two, Python or Clipper?
Yeah,
Python.
for now, tentatively. Like, they might make changes later that make the Clipper
Oh, yeah.
stronger again.
Oh, yeah, and anytime a patch comes out, things will change.
Next.
For now, Python. Last one. I'm a No Man's Sky refuge. What is Elite Dangerous?
Wait, what's the question?
What is it?
What is Elite Dangerous?
Better.
There
Good
he is.
answer.
Better.
Better than No Man's
yeah.
Sky.
Somebody said it on the forums today, like the hint is in the name. It's dangerous. You know,
Yeah.
That's
It's
your
a dangerous game.
there's nothing dangerous in No Man's Sky. There's everything, literally
really
everything
isn't.
is dangerous in Elite Dangerous.
Everything is
Taking
cuddly.
off will kill you.
Oh yeah, there it is. Why does Elite Dangerous succeed where No Man's Sky fails? The
Yeah,
clues in the
that's
title.
a great comment. Who
Clearly
said
that's one
that?
of the
Whoever
posts.
said that, that's great.
Yeah.
They're right.
Commander Lyson posted the article from PCGamesN.com,
Okay.
written by Kirk McKean. I don't know.
Kirk. Kill Kirk.
Kirk is going to save us
I
from
don't
the Thargoids.
Elite Dangerous, better game. It's a better
Yep,
game.
It's better.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's us signing off.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we need
So
like
fly
outro
free.
music. Does anyone have outro music?
Good work. Yeah, fly free.
Do 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 do.
Like keyboard cat.
do, 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 do.